And then there was one cup final left.
Yeah, it's great. I suppose it's been a long season. It's been fantastic, and obviously we've been under pressure all season. I suppose because we started so well early on and went through a bit of a blip, and people thought we were gone, and we came again and had a small little another blip then in August and came again. And I suppose it's great credit due to the lads, the hard work, really tremendous attitude and desire and passion, and I suppose between the players and the crowd kept the whole thing going, and we're down to the last match and everything to play for, which is a fantastic situation for the club, fantastic for the players themselves, and fantastic for the supporters. So we're looking forward to Friday night. We know how difficult it's going to be, but at the same time, we brought it to the last game of the season, and we're here now in a situation where we can win the league, and that's what we're looking to do.
Cast your mind back to the start of the season. You set a target of European football, but did you think you'd really be in the mix to top the whole lot?
Well, I suppose people that would know me closely would know that when I came into the job, I certainly wasn't thinking that we'd be, mid-table or whatever. They knew that probably we'd work extremely hard. Obviously, the backroom team, particularly Cots coming in, was a huge addition to me. Obviously, bringing Phil Harrington in and Billy had been there before. And I suppose all guys that work really hard, put a huge amount of effort in. And I suppose I'm a great believer that if you get players that want to train as hard as they can and wants to have ability and the right attitude, I think anything is possible. So did I expect to be in this position? I certainly thought halfway through the season that we were well capable of staying in the frame. Obviously people would have fancied Pats and Rovers ahead of us to stay with Dundalk, but I just felt that halfway through the season, particularly after the mid-season break, when we went on a good run, then I just felt that the possibility was that we could hang in there and stay in contention. Obviously, to get Europe was crucial at the time, and but I suppose in the last 8 or 9 weeks, Dundalk's name was on the cup. Everyone told them they had the cup won. One night we left at Lone after 2-2 draw. They had won 3-2. Everyone said it was all over that night. Previously, people had said it was all over the night. They left us and beat us 2-1. But I always felt that, if we took it game by game, lads worked as hard as they could. We'd huge matches to play, very difficult situations. And but from the start of the match to the end of the matches, we fought very hard, and we've had a small bit of luck. We've had a tremendous amount of drive and determination in the team, and hence those late winners was because of that. And I just had a gut feeling that we might get to this situation, and it's great credit due to the lads. And we're here, and we're all looking forward to going to the Dock.
John, how much of an issue was the pitch on Friday, and how does it affect you when you play on it?
Well, the situation is 99% of your football is played on grass, and then you go to an all-weather pitch. At this week we were training on an all-weather pitch. The crucial thing is to get used to the bounce in particular, and also the pace of the ball, because it's slower than being on grass. So what we're doing this week is just trying to get used to the fact that it's going to have a different bounce. Obviously, it's slightly slower, and really get the lads used to it. But at the end of the day, we're tremendously fit players. The team will work so hard, and they know it's going to be very difficult. Obviously, the fact that Dundalk are at home because it's on their pitch, but at the same time, we're not. I've said all year, I believe that it's wrong to play that any club, that we shouldn't be playing professional football on pitches like that. That's my belief. Nothing to Dundalk, because Dundalk are a fantastic team, good club, top manager, and but we won't be making any excuses. We know this scenario. We've been training all week on the all-weather pitch, and we're adjusting to it, and we're not going to be making any excuses about it, because we know about it. And what we have to do is make sure that we give a top performance up there, which we're well capable of doing. And I believe if we do that, we'll win the league. If we don't, and they prove or we give a top performance and they're better than us, you shake their hands and congratulate them. But I just feel that if we give a top performance, I just think we will win the league.
Where are you training this week?
Colossus Stefanefa.
Oh, okay. And did you train on an all-weather pitch before the previous away game against Dundalk?
We did. Maybe we didn't train as well though.
Obviously, that game.
Yeah, there was a few complications the last time because there was quite a few players that didn't train in it, and then obviously we left Colin out at that time as well, and there was a different set of circumstances. Whereas this time we're all training it. Everyone knows the score. They've all known the situation, and I suppose there is a couple of players that, after a match like that, probably wouldn't be able to play for a couple of weeks, and that's the reason. When it's in the middle of your season, you have to look at it responsibly. Whereas with this one, after next Friday night, they can go on holiday, so it's not going to be an issue. So it's from that point of view, we've changed the type of training on it this week and the style of training. But look, everyone's happy. There hasn't been a word about the pitch. Everyone's just totally focused on going to Dundalk, knowing what to do, and trying to get the results.
And the other game was kind of a one-off anyway. Like, if you look at the results over the course of the season, it stands out a mile. Like, it was just so different all the games, so you can't be dwelling on it or kind of,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely not. And I suppose, if you look at that time, we were on a fantastic run since the start of the season. We had been unbeaten, and I suppose Dundalk, if you like, were waiting to ambush us. They could sense that night they were waiting for us to come into their patch, and they blew us away in the first 30 minutes. It'll be a totally different story Friday night. We know where we're going to. We know what we're doing. We've worked tremendously hard to get here. We've been under massive pressure for the last 6 weeks to keep the results, because remember, we had to keep winning. Like, we won 6 in a row. We had to win, otherwise Dundalk would have won the league a couple of weeks ago, and so we needed to keep winning, which shows that we've been under tremendous pressure. The lads have been under tremendous pressure, but they've held their heads. They've dug in there, and they brought it to the last game. And we know what we're going up to face. And as I keep saying to the lads, their feet are on the ground. They're very positive guys. They've fantastic attitudes. And as I keep saying, if we go up there and give a top performance, I think it'll be good enough. If we give a top performance, it's not good enough. You can't do any more than that. So, totally different scenario to the last match.
And you're not afraid Dundalk are going to draft Tom McNulty in or anything like that?
Well, the only thing I'd say about Tom, and he was an absolutely fantastic player. In the current climate, with the current rules, Tom wouldn't last longer than 30 minutes. So Tom had the fear of God and a lot of players. So, the likes of Tom's styles, or the style of football that was played that time, and the more aggressive style has gone out of the game, which from my point of view is probably unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
And looking back at that game in 91, do you think the fact that City were at home kind of put extra pressure on you and kind of maybe helped Dundalk a bit?
God, that's a long time ago. Look, really, I don't know. I remember it was a huge crowd. The only thing I would say at the time, we hadn't won anything. And Dundalk were used to winning. And they were after winning, they had players in their team that had won a league, and maybe they handled the occasion better than us. Not that maybe they did handle the occasion better than us. So, but at that time, Cork City, we hadn't won anything, and it probably, we managed the week badly, we managed the occasion badly, and probably Dundalk's experience just got them over the line that particular day.
You were saying Friday that you're going up to win the match, you're going to go to try and win the game, but the fact that a draw will be sufficient. Does that sow a seed of doubt in people's, psychologically? How do you overcome that?
I wouldn't think so. I would hope not. We've only been speaking about all week about going to Dundalk to win the match. We've never approached any game this season in any other way. We've always gone to win. And our work and our work on the training ground and what we've spoken about this week is to go to Dundalk and win the match. That's the only way you can approach it. You don't, if you decide to, leave off 2 or 3 players, bring 3 or 4 more defenders in, you're not hiding to nothing, and then you're inviting the situation. We're quite capable of going to Dundalk to score. We're quite capable of going up there to win. Okay, we may not, but we are capable of doing it, and the lads believe that. But we know how difficult it is because they're a super team, and I suppose all the advantages are for them because they're at home and on the pitch, and and they're such a good side. But look at, we're certainly not sitting back thinking, or we've never discussed anything other than going to Dundalk to win the match. And I know people on the outside, and all of a sudden people are spinning the story at the moment now that it's a disadvantage to going up there because we only need a draw. I don't know. At the end of the match it'll tell. or maybe if we're hanging on with 2 or 3 minutes to go and it's a level match, I don't know. But certainly we're fully focused on going up to Dundalk to win the match, and that's all it is.
Have you been practicing penalties?
No, you can't call it penalties. It's a league game. It's not a.
Well, if you get penalties during the course of the game.
Well, if you get a penalty during the course of the game, I would presume Billy Denny will take it if he's playing. He's been the penalty taker, and so. But no, we haven't. No, there's no reason to practice penalties because I can't go to penalty shootout. So no, we're just practicing how we intend to play up there, and we're trying to play for a win.
What's the update on injuries at the moment? Yeah.
Injury situation is we're hoping Josh O'Shea will be fully recovered. Ross Gaynor is 50-50 and Garrod Morrissey is 50-50. And
will the final call be made just before the kick-off?
It'll be made Friday morning. Yeah, Friday lunchtime when we go through it. It's one of those ones. It's probably unfortunate for the lads really, because Garrod has missed the last 3 matches. He previously mid-season had missed 5 matches when we went on a great run, and he's a guy that doesn't get injured. It's just very unfortunate. And as I said last Thursday at training, Ross went over in his leg, and it's a tough one for him because he'd been part of the Sligo team that won a league a couple of years ago. Very experienced guy, desperately wants to play in the match, and so it's going to be a tight call, and I suppose ultimately I'll have to make the decision, and I suppose, but I need every fella to be 100%. You can't get away with carrying players in big matches. You can't really get away with carrying players anyway, but particularly in big matches, you need every fella 100% mentally right as well for the game, and not having any doubts. You need everyone right. So it's both guys are 50-50 really. So, but look, I keep saying all year we've had lots of guys with injuries. We had Colin Healy out for a while. We had Dan out. We had Darren out. Garrod has been out for quite a spell. And when you look at all the lads that have come in, have done fantastic. And you look at last week, I keep saying we lost Ross, who was absolutely unbelievable the previous week against UCD. Again against Sligo the week before, it has been fantastic. And since coming to the club, has been brilliant at left back. Michael McSweeney came in last week. He was up against Walsh in the first half. They were all on Devaney in the second half, who was a top player. He had to get across into the box. You know what I mean? So we've had these guys that have come in. John Kavanagh hadn't been in the team for a long time. He's come in the last 3 weeks, done fantastic. So we've had a great mix. The Rob Lehan's coming on, and I suppose I know we've had a lot of sort of a strong 13-14 panel where we've had the likes of our main 13 or 14 up to the halfway point, and then we brought in the likes of I suppose John O'Flynn, Josh, these lads in to build up our panel, and Michael, and they've all done great. So the beauty is that the lads, Dave O'Leary, they've come on from the bench and played. They've been superb. I suppose that's maybe that's why when the squad is such a bond and such a real strength between them, because when one fella's out, the next fella comes in and they know what to do and they give everything they can, and you can't ask for any more than that, and they've never let the team down. Yeah. So either way, I'm sure the 11 that will go on the pitch with the lads on the bench and whatever, I'm sure there'll be no. We're not going to make any excuses. We want to go and prepare properly. There's nothing. We're totally focused on what we have to do. We know the league title's at stake, and we just hope it's going to be a proper match, and that there's no controversial decision or anything like that. That it's on the field of play, and that's what we want.
What do you think of the atmosphere around the city in the build up to the game?
Well, the atmosphere in the city has always been fantastic. You go to last Friday night, 6,500 people. The night and the weather and the whole lot, it just shows you this. Cork is passionate about League of Ireland football, and they're passionate about Cork City. But more than that, I think and I keep saying this, I know you're sick of hearing it, there's an unbelievable closeness between the players and the supporters that came about since the start of the season, because they have saw a team that were written off, that never had a chance, that every week have given everything they had, and even when they were knocked, they've bounced back. And you can sense that, and that's why the crowd was so big last week, because they wanted to thank the lads to say, look, you've been unbelievable this year. You fought to the last minute, and he brought us to a league decider that we never expected we'd get to, or I don't think the supporters wouldn't have expected that they would have got to, right? And they've qualified for Europe, and I suppose it was a send off to the lads to say, look, go away next week and see, bring us back the title if you can, and that's what we're trying to do.
John, do you think the fact that you've been mentioned as underdogs for pretty much the whole season, has that helped you?
I don't know. We don't really discuss it. You know, we just we're very level-headed fellas. We don't have any big heads, ego fellas, big names like Colin Healy's one of the most experienced guy we had, most assuming, most quietest guy you could meet. Comes to train every morning 9 o'clock, does his training, talks to lads, goes home. We don't have any egos or anything like that. And for me as a manager, it's brilliant to deal with the lads. All solid, rock solid guys, just want to do things right, want to train as hard as they can, want to win. And plus the fact can enjoy the crack. We all have a laugh as well. And so being underdogs all year, I don't really know. I think from our point of view, it's really just making sure that we keep the performance. We haven't really discussed it. We just said every week, let's go out and show how good we are. And we're underestimated because we're a very good side. You know, you look around, you look at the teams and the players out there, and the players that the top teams have, Dundalk, St. Pat's. Look at our players. We've got fantastic players. You go right from number one all the way through, fantastic players. And a lot of lads who've won medals, which is a bonus, but they've won medals because they're good, proper players. And I suppose maybe the fact that people were knocking you and saying that you had no chance, did seem strange. But I can understand, people looking at us from the outside. They mightn't have watched us too often. You know what I mean? We're on game number 33 on Friday night. We've played 17 home games. I would suggest an awful lot of people reporting have never even seen our home matches, And so maybe that's where that comes from. They watch a team more often. They watch you and they think they're better, or they might be friendly with the manager, might be friendly with people in that area. These things happen. It doesn't matter to me. All I know is what we have. I know in Cork we have fantastic support. We have a fantastic team. It would be fantastic for the club if we could lift the trophy.
You mentioned in 91 that you got prepared better for the game against Dundalk. Is there any difference in preparation for this week compared to what you would have done back then?
Yeah, the personnel. I suppose it's a different era. I don't want to go back in 91. It means, from my own point of view, it's a bad time. What I mean is that things have changed. As in, you're dealing with different type of people in the sense that, don't get me wrong, we were all stone mad, passionate players. But the whole lifestyle, the situation is totally different. Now the football is different. The way people look after themselves, the grounds are different. So it's just that it's really there's no comparison. Only the fact that there's two teams, the same two teams that were there that time, are here so many years later. And but at the same time, look at the positive for us is that of this year that we have to go to Dundalk. And I suppose if you look back a number of weeks ago, it didn't look possible, and we've had a 7-point swing around. If you look at it, there's been a 7-point swing around, and it has been because we've won 6 out of 6, and we've been unbeaten since the break. And when we turned around after we lost to Dundalk, the following week we had St. Pat's. We hadn't beaten them all season, and we beat them. Then we ended up playing Sligo. A number of weeks ago we were told we hadn't beaten Sligo all year, which we hadn't, and we beat them. Then we ended up with Bohemians last week, where we've played them 4 times, and we haven't beaten them this season. And we had to beat them last Friday night, and we beat them. So people are saying you haven't beaten Dundalk, and we haven't. So Friday night we'll see.
You must be really pleased, John, with 17 clean sheets in the league, 20 in total for the season. It says a lot about the back five, doesn't it?
Well, it says a lot about the team. Because at the end of the day, when you don't have the ball, you have to defend from the front. But absolutely, like I keep saying, I always felt Mark McNulty was an underrated keeper. I just felt he was. But I'd have to stress that Phil Harrington certainly has made him a much better keeper than this season than he had been, because I think Phil worked so hard with him. and Phil was such a top keeper himself. He's pushing Mark every day at training, and I think you can see from Mark's habits, they have got better and better. And obviously then the fact that, you know, we had, I suppose, a reasonably settled back four. You know, you had Dan and Darren Denny, who were the two centre-backs who really blended well together. Darren didn't kick a ball last year for the club. Dan was in a situation where he was missing every second week through work, and there was different things going on. This year they've played the majority of matches. Right back we had Lenny. We're the only club that's lost a player to the Premiership from Ireland this year. Okay, so we lost one of our top players halfway through the season. We never complained, we just moved on. And obviously Johnny has played there. Johnny's played left back. John Cav has come in. We had a problem at left back after we took Johnny out there and brought in Erla. Then Ross came in and did that job. So I suppose, look at it, to have so many clean sheets, you have to if you want to win the league. And I suppose if you look at it, and we roll back over the last couple of seasons, like sometimes people say to me, look, we've hung on in some of the matches recently, you know, and we have. But if you go back over the last couple of years, how many times have we been sitting in the stand and we've conceded late goals over the last 2 seasons, when you nearly know that you're 2-1 up 5 minutes ago and you are going to concede? At least this year, we've been, when it's come to that phase of a match, if things have been tight, we've dug in and we've got the result. And that's the huge credit and I suppose huge drive of the team, that when they've been under the cosh, they've dug in and scrapped out the win. And you know, you need clean sheets to win a league, and having 17 clean sheets, I think we're the highest with clean sheets in the league, which is a great sign. And all credit to the lads.
John, what message do you have for the travelling supporters going up on Friday? What role do they have to play on Friday night?
Well, I think I've no doubt our support is going to be phenomenal again. I just like to say to them, look, get to the ground early. Be careful, you know, because Dundalk, there's nice people there, nice town, but it's a big town. Just be careful, and I suppose stick together and try and get into the ground early and get behind us right from the start. And hopefully we can give the performance that'll send us home happy and send the supporters home happy.
Final match on Friday night. As captain, are you pinching yourself that you're still in for the league title?
Sure, it's a great position to be in, Billy. Like, I suppose at the start of the year, as John said, no one gave us a chance of being here really, but within the squad we were quietly confident that we could achieve something, and to bring it down to the last game of the season, to have everything to play for, it's really exciting, and it's what we train and what we play for.
And looking forward to the game, obviously.
Oh, can't wait now. Can't wait to get started. We kind of wish it was tomorrow. The waiting's almost the worst part. But no, we're looking forward to getting going up on Friday night and hopefully putting in one more big performance.
Do you feel you're on something of a mission, John, the way the season has gone? You're just a draw or a win away from clinching it now at this stage?
I don't know. Sure, listen, it's a great position that we put ourselves in, Noel, but we have to go and finish it off now. I think we've developed a bit of a ruthlessness within the team in the last few weeks. You know, winning 6 games in a row and such big pressure matches that they were as well. But like I say, you know, it'll all count for nothing if we don't perform as well as we can on Friday night. We know it's going to be tough, but we're all really looking forward to it.
Part of the motivation would be to set our record straight as well, obviously, after a 4-0 defeat up there.
Well, that's it. Sure, the last time we were up there, we got an awful hiding, but I think we're a much better team than we were back then. We're much more settled. We're much more solid. We've had an awful lot of big results and big games in the meantime, and like I say, we're all looking forward to getting going now.
Fair to say, they're the form team going into this match. Dundalk have drawn their last 2 games.
I suppose it is, but there's no doubt that Dundalk are more than capable on their day. They're a great team, and for us to win the game, we're going to have to play as well as we possibly can. So we just hope we can do that now on Friday night.
Where do you see the danger coming from? Everywhere.
Everywhere. There's no one area really. They've got they have a lot of top players, so. We're going to have to, from 1 to 11, we're going to have to perform very, very well if we're going to win the game, and that's what we're going up there and going to try and do.
The captain's role any different in this week compared to normal weeks?
No, I think just try and make it as normal a week as possible. At the end of the day, it's just another football match. Obviously, there's a lot more on the line, but you have to try and make it as normal as you possibly can and prepare as well as you can, the same as for any other match. And hopefully, all of us together can go out on Friday night and do the business.
Have you done about your pre-match speech yet?
I haven't thought about any speech yet. No, all I'm thinking about is what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. That's about it.
There's great experience in the team, Johnny. Isn't there? Apart from the young lads have done well, but there's great experience from Mark McNulty, Dan, John coming in, Liam is still only under 18, we know, but
Actually, listen, we fellas in the squad that have been there and done it all. You know, from healers playing for Ireland and playing in England. Dan Murray won many's a league title. John O'Flynn, Liam Carney won league titles, so they know what it's all about to be there and do it. And it's brilliant to have them, so that the rest of us can feed from them and learn from them, and hopefully pick it up now for Friday night.
yeah, sometimes we talk about the younger players. I think we forget that you're only 23 and this is your third season here, so it must be a huge boost to yourself personally.
Yeah, sure. Listen, it's brilliant. It's brilliant to be here, and like I said before, it's what we play for and what you dream about. When you're young, I mean, there's no question the hairs will be standing up on the back of your neck walking out onto the pitch on Friday night, and that's going to be some feeling. But like I say, we still have to go out and do our job on Friday in a professional way.
Would the players be feeling the buzz around the city in the build up to the game?
I think so. You get a lot of people coming up to you now and wishing you all the best and things, and like this last few weeks has shown you what a massive club Cork City is. Like the support there on Friday night was just unbelievable. So there's no doubt we'll have another massive support up in Dundalk on Friday, and the supporters can definitely be our 12th man.
2005, obviously John and Liam, you were both involved and got the goals in the final game. Like, are you able to draw upon the positive experience of that and kind of impart to the younger fellas in the squad?
Yeah, definitely. It's about, as Johnny said, just trying to make it a normal week as possible. Not to get carried away with, the fans tend to get carried away more than the players. We have to stay grounded, and as Johnny said, we still have to go up Friday and do the job. We done it in 2005, and there's probably more medals in our change room than there is there. So there's that bit of positivity we can't take into it, and if any of the lads want to talk about the feelings we got leading up, all I can remember really the week training prior to the last game in 2005 was Liam lost his rag with Rico there one time. That's all I can really remember. Other than that, it's a normal week, and to the first game to the last game, the main objective is a league title. The only difference between the first game and this game is that we have a chance to get it in our hands. So we'll be doing everything possible to try and keep it normal, but we know the big task in hand.
Have you any more information, Liam?
Well, not in that story. But, no, I think a lot of people say about the pressure and stuff. I think the pressure, in my eyes anyway, is that to get to this point, I think the last 4 or 5 games, they were pressure games. I think this game now is just a cup final where you have the freedom, I think, that you have to go out and win the game. I know the draw will do us, but when you look back to 2005, a draw would have done Derry.
Yeah.
I think you look at the team they played that night, it was a team put out to get a draw. And if you learn anything from that night, I know different team and everything else, but you have to go out and approach it like this is the night. This is the night you'll remember for the rest of your life. And I've had disappointments in 2007, the FAI Cup. 2005 as well. The FAI Cup was a disaster, So you draw on the positives and the negatives in the past, and if I can help any of the boys, that are going to go out and just tell them to go and play. You've got to this point because we're up, we're top of the league as it stands. You know what I mean? You didn't get there because you're not a good player. And while we have been to Dundalk and things didn't go well for us during the season, it's immaterial now. And I mean, there's different. It's a different game for us, and it's all on the line. As I said, we've been written off all year, and I think as a player anyway, it kind of hurts you because you think to yourself, well, how can they write us off? Look at the players we've had all year, and we've proved ourselves, but we just have to go and prove ourselves one more time.
Was that the best moment of your career, scoring in front of the shed to make it 2-0?
Yeah, it was nice to score on the night, but again, it was nice to win the league. As I said, while people would always say, "Oh, you scored that night" or whatever, it wasn't. It was what we did all year. And as I said, you win a league over a season, not over one night. You know. But as I said to some of the boys there today, I said you'll be remembered. I said just in your head, think about the feeling in 20, 30 years' time, where people still know what you did that night. So, as I said, I feel and I hope I can translate to the players that you got to play your game that you've done all season to get you to this point. We don't want anyone stiffening up or feeling the pressure because, as I said, last week was pressure. getting the result against Bows this week now, it's all there for us, you know.
Is there any difference compared to 2005, where you had known where at the moment you're a fans own club? Is there any difference today as a player if you wanted this over?
Sorry?
Is there any difference to win the league this year compared to 2005? Would have been a fans own club instead of being just one owner?
Yeah, I suppose, look, I mean, as John said earlier, you know, there's a great relationship there with the fans and the players. As you said, the closeness, the fact that the fans do run the club now as well, means that you're very aware of what it means to them to get us into this position that we're in right now. So, you know, there's so many young boys as well, you know, in the team, and a lot of them are from Cork, and we'd even call Johnny a Corkoni now at this stage. So, you know, it's great to see that we've got a team that's going to try and win the league with so many young players. And again, like John has to take credit, he's brought a lot of players into the side this year and made them into men, if you ask me, you know, people that can go out now and get results when the pressure's on and play in front of the big crowds.
Even Johnny's got a goal this season.
Even Johnny scored, yeah.
Miracles do happen, Billy.
Thanks, lads. No worries.